Okay, for people who are joining this meeting, we are live streaming a meeting about notebook streaming. And maybe we should look at a demo, and then what we want to do is try and make the design and UX of the whole thing. So can we start off with a demo of some kind?
Sure. Would you like me to create a stream that you can connect to?
Sure, or can I create a stream? Where do I have this? Do I have it
Sure.
here?
If you still have it, doesn't look like you do. Here, I'll send the installation.
Well, there's a different computer, so.
I just put that in chat. A Zoom chat, that is.
Okay, we got, and this will work in 12.1, correct?
Yeah, should work.
Okay. So where is that notebook streaming? Magnificent. Okay, all right. So let's look at this UX. Who do we have here for that? Who is here to represent UX? I thought we were going to have UX people here.
Should Jezebel be here?
No.
She was the one that added me to this meeting.
Okay, who set up this meeting? This is wrong. Okay, so why don't you get Jeremy Davis?
Okay.
We could ping Noah, but it's probably a bit too late for him in the UK, but you can ping him, see if he wants to join us. Can we do that? Is Emma still here?
I'll let her know too.
Okay. And I don't know whether Jeremy wants to bring in somebody else to look at this design, but that's what we're going to need. That's what this meeting was supposed to be about. What did we think this meeting was about? Anyway, okay, no matter. All right. So let's see. The stream name you entered is invalid. Okay, well, we should take the actual UX of this, right? So this is what we presumably want is in here where it says new chat session, right? Why don't we get the people who designed the chat stuff? Go ask Andre who he wants to be here.
Okay.
Okay. So this has no stream name other than the actual name here. So it has no stream title, correct?
Correct.
Which it probably optionally should have.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Okay, so in the File New menu, we also want to connect to, so it's almost an open, isn't it?
I suppose I suppose that those should be two separate things. Yeah.
But it's not really open, right? It's new for either, for the streamer or the streamee.
No, but in the streamee, you're going to open this up and suddenly a window will pop up on your screen.
Yeah, but new makes a window pop up on your screen as well. I mean, open is very much finding an existing notebook, existing document.
All right, okay,
should open enough. A file system viewer, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can call this new streaming notebook session. Notebook streaming session.
Didn't we once have some just fooling around menus for this on the file menu?
Yeah,
Was
I
there-
just had technical issues with getting that to work reliably because there's no
right, but didn't we?
yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
we
go
have
ahead.
a file, new, and then streaming notebook, and that was also a pop-up that had two choices.
That was
Viewing
exactly this pop-up. It was just instead of under palettes notebook streaming, it was file new streamed notebook.
Sorry,
I
what did
see,
you
right.
do?
He just,
I previously had it under file new, but I just had technical issues with getting that to work reliably.
so there was file new, and then streaming notebook or something, dot, and that
Yeah,
brought
streamed
up this
notebook.
exact dialogue.
Yeah, right below the chat session item.
Okay, all right, fine. So then that becomes, whoops. So okay, so taking it from the top, that would be file new. Oh gosh, why was this? Oh my gosh, this is really, really broken. Wow. This version is just absolutely hosed. I can't do everything about all the styling is all broken. Okay, great. Just a minute. I basically can't use this as a, yeah, okay. Well, this is totally hosed. Okay, let me not do that then. Will this work in version 12?
Yes, as long as you don't make a alpha inline
Okay.
input box.
Okay, do I have to reinstall the Packlet?
No, I think it should still be there since it's in the Packlet
Still be there.
repository.
This old version should instantly recognize that it was installed. And there it is. A nice feature.
Brilliant,
of the Packlet
Todd.
system.
Brilliant. Congratulations on your brilliance, except that I'm not sure. It was really slow to, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so this goes, wait a minute. What the heck? Did you rebind keys or something? It's not working here either. All of my
Oh,
my
I
God.
know why it is. It's because you have the pop-up open. I noticed that bug previously, but I forgot about it. It's presumably a front-end bug. But yeah, if you just click the cancel on.
Okay, well then somebody needs to tell.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious problem.
It's effectively a modal dialogue.
Yeah, it's a modeless dialogue, whatever that means. But that's the window frame. But yeah, it's a
modal window frame, but
it's like a message dialogue.
It's a modal. Yeah, I mean, you have to use it and get rid of it before you do anything else.
Well, yeah, it's inconsistent that you can type underneath it, but you can't change the style.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so let's see if I can type this here. I was looking, I got your dialogue there. Okay. Do I have a place to store this?
You can store it in channel framework. It's ILD SW notes channel framework.
Okay. All right. So first it goes file new streaming notebook. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Or do we want to have
Or streamed notebook.
I think streaming notebook is better.
Okay.
And then okay. So let's do this again. For some reason, this is very confusing to me. If I
Sure,
say
yeah,
view existing stream, I mean, that's a Wolfram ID, or what is that? What is that string?
It's literally that whole box is the channel name. I mean, I didn't put too much thought into the design of that. But yeah, it's because when you create a stream, you can enter just a string without the Wolfram ID, because it will by default create it has to create the channel under your Wolfram ID, and then when you view, you need to enter you need to prefix it with the Wolfram ID of the person who's
okay. Well, fine. So, but that means that when you type foo or something, it better complete, because otherwise you're not going to know what to tell anybody else to go to.
What do you mean it should complete? What should complete?
The issue, but when your notebook opens up at the top, it lists the full stream name for users to connect to, right, Jesse?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't,
but I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it just being you just enter a name and that becomes universally unique. That's how chat does it. That would be perfectly fine. This was just easier. So like you'd enter foo and then you own foo forever.
Right. Okay, well, hold on. So, but you got to tell somebody else what this is, right? And,
right.
And not everybody is going to have Wolfram IDs that look like that.
And what do you mean by that?
Not everybody is going to have user@email.com. Not everybody will have that. That's because some of the authentications for Wolfram IDs work against single sign-on systems and all kinds of complicated things. Okay, so there's no guarantee that it looks like that.
Okay, I did not know that.
Right.
But if you go ahead and create a stream notebook, it'll show at the top the full thing that people need to enter. Can you clarify what you mean by not all Wolfram IDs will look like that? Because I've never seen a Wolfram ID that doesn't look
they
like
don't exist yet. They will soon.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay, let's actually try running this. Okay, so sorry, just okay, sorry. Okay, finally here. All right, let's say testing. So now what happens if that stream only lasts during the time that I am currently streaming, right? That name is recycled later or not?
No, the name is not recycled currently.
Okay, so that's obviously not going to work. Somehow it can't be the case that forevermore that's the only stream. Well, I guess it's like Zoom sessions. I mean, I guess those are the names of those.
The missing element, though, is that not currently the case, but what I plan to be the case, because I think it's probably the best design, is that the contents of the stream are persistent, at least for a certain duration. So if there's something, if you create a stream and then you do stuff in it, then everybody leaves and then reconnects later.
What? Look, you know what? This is not a good idea. What we should do instead is the default should be to create an anonymous stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you with a UUID, right?
Yeah.
And then anybody who wants it, then you should have a button that says share stream with people. You can send it by email, you can send it however you want.
Okay. Then what if it's like a presentation and everyone's in the same room?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you're giving a presentation and you want the people who are physically in the room with you to connect to the stream and be able to view stuff,
then they should use a QR code.
And which you scan with what? Your laptop?
A phone. Can hold up your laptop, I guess. I mean, I think that's if they can't reach the people, right? So okay, they could type something in, but they're going to have to type in something quite long and they might get it wrong. And the problem with them typing it in is then you're saying that you're going to keep that stream around. You're going to archive that stream forever. Right?
Okay, yeah, not necessarily forever. It could be a defined finite time. Like, I don't know, 30 days or something. But I mean, I'm okay.
No, you've got to assume that it's either. I mean, how are you archiving it? Is it just a cloud object?
No, in the database that will be backing this thing, the same, because a database is required to store cells. So if someone connects while the stream is in progress, they can retrieve the current state of the stream. So
if we're going to archive it long term, we got to proxy it through a cloud object, or people will never be able to get to it.
Okay, well, I think there could certainly be an option to persist to a cloud object, but it can't be going through the cloud object in real time, because that would just add large amounts of latency.
Okay, fair enough. But then when the stream is ended, okay, most of these systems, when the stream is ended, or after a certain amount of time, 45 minutes or something, after nothing has happened, or 2 hours, or whatever it is, then it should just archive itself.
Okay, and it becomes a cloud object. Sure.
Yes.
Automatically?
I think so, unless you tell it, don't archive the stream.
Okay, I'm thinking more. You said when the stream ends, or just after a certain amount of inactivity. If it's when the stream ends, then the definition of that is when the streamer closes their notebook. So there could be a pop-up that says, "Would you like to save this to the cloud?" No? Okay.
I don't think so. Well, yeah, there could be, I suppose. Just like a notebook has a pop-up that says whether you want to save it. I mean, but you could save this streamer notebook, couldn't you?
Directly to the cloud or to
No. To wherever it's been opened. You could save it to the desktop, right?
Yes, in principle. Right now, if you did that, it has some stuff attached to it that you wouldn't want saved, dynamic things. But I presumably that can be automatically removed. So yes.
Okay, I just don't like the idea of having another database to maintain. See what I'm saying?
Well, there has to be a database, but
no, I understand that, but just a
sure.
temporary database. It's just,
Sure,
it's just a
temporary.
caching thing.
Okay.
But look, the options we clearly need an option to record the stream, right? You know, but we might want an option to not record the stream.
So is this, you mean archive, like save at the end?
Yes, that's what I mean. Because record is, for most people, that's the same.
Okay. Well, record could also mean like recording keystrokes, but yes, I get what you mean.
Well, then maybe that's the wrong thing. But that's very confusing to say archive this stream when you're just starting it.
Okay. Well, is it
keep an archive of the stream?
Okay, I'm not sure if presenting that when you first start it is the best choice.
No, it's very confusing. But you know, if the thing crashes and you forgot to check keep an archive of the stream, you're screwed. Right?
Sure. Well, but if we're trying to be able to save the whole thing in that case, then it needs to be, then the idea of automatically saving every 45 minutes or whatever doesn't really work.
That. That's not what I said. I said after 45 minutes of inactivity, it archives itself and flushes itself from the active database.
Okay. But then if it does crash, then how does I mean, I guess that's my problem to solve, but how does the server know, okay, this has
after
crashed?
45 minutes of inactivity, it archives, if it checked to keep an archive of the stream, it archives itself to the cloud. Otherwise, it just flushes from the database and it's gone.
Okay, fine. But then don't you have to wait 45 minutes? If it does crash on you, then don't you have to wait 45 minutes to then be able to go recover that archived notebook?
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, I think so. But it should be, if it crashes, it's still in the database, right? So you should be able to reconnect to the database.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So within that window. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Did we get Brady in this meeting?
We have Jeremy here.
No, that's not what I asked. Is Brady here?
Not yet.
How come? Did you ask him?
No, you told Emma to ask him. You told me to get Jeremy and Noah.
Okay, so did I?
Let me go get him.
Okay. What's that? Oh, that's your idea of how people would copy. How do I unshow that?
That's an idea. Just in the upper left, the close button.
Okay, it's an amusing idea. Okay, but so we got to find a solution to how do people in the room or remote get the stream name?
Well, there are ways of generating unique names that are not totally unreadable, untypable like UUIDs are.
I agree.
So
that seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Okay, sure. Like in ECE, we discussed this for the URL shortener, I think.
Yes, generate a readable short name because we don't need more than, we've got 10 million of these, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if they're recycled, then
Well, they won't be recycled in any time. Yeah, you just need to make sure that no two of them. Well, how would you access the archive but from the name?
But well, from the name, but the archive has been persisted to a cloud object. It's no longer in the database, so it can have that name, but it's under your cloud account.
Right. So it has that name. So basically, the archive name would be something like streaming notebook archive / date, whatever the date is, dash the name.
Yeah. I'm not sure it even really needs the name, since if the name is going to be auto-generated, there's not much use in using it after it's no longer needed. Like, I think it could just be the date.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But if you give it a name, if you have it can be the title if there is one.
Yeah, okay, if there is a title, that sounds good. Because I think right now, if you open a chat session, if you don't give it a title, it's something like Jesse F's chat session date.
Okay, fine. Then that's a reasonable thing to do here. Okay. We had the wrong people in this meeting, unfortunately. So this meeting is not going to be as useful as it could have been. It's really unfortunate. Okay. In any case. All right. So now I just start typing, and you could connect to the stream, but for some reason, show the stream name. Okay. I don't know why there's no colon there. Oh, I see colon there. Okay. So you'd have to type in that whole thing to connect to that stream, right?
Yeah, I just did it. Took me about 5 seconds, and I'm connected now.
Yeah, but you're a fast typist. Okay, so if I start typing here.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right, so let me do it the other way around.
You want me to make a stream?
Yep.
Okay. 1 second.
Right here.
Okay, I just made one and put the name or whatever in the Zoom chat.
Okay, I hit return there.
Yeah, that's not hooked up right now, because I mean, right now it's ambiguous which one it should go to.
Okay, so here obviously it should say the name of the stream at the top, shouldn't it? Or the title, if there's a title of the stream.
Yeah, you're right, it should.
Okay, so you should be able to have here it should ask for the title of the stream, but I think it should just give you back the name of the stream. Because I don't think there's any value to having something where you're going to burn up. Well, unless we think that at any given time, Right. So what you're suggesting is if you put in a name here, that name will be recycled because it's only relevant if you connect to that stream after the stream is closed and gone for 45 minutes, for example, then you won't get anything. But that stream could be reused later, correct?
Correct. Now, do we have? I'm not sure we've established. Do we want people to be able to choose a vanity name, a custom name for the stream, or are we restricting people to these auto-generated names?
I think we should let them choose a vanity name because it's going to come out with their ID.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it should come out with their ID. I don't think.
Yeah, I think we've got. I think we're beyond having the Wolfram ID in there.
Okay.
That's fine.
So then they can pick a name, and if that name is being currently used in the database, it will lock them out. If it isn't being currently used, then they'd never be able to connect to that stream unless it was in this time window. So if they can guess the name of a stream somebody is using, then fine, they can connect to it, but otherwise they cannot, right?
Yeah. Okay. And if they don't enter a custom name, it's an auto-generated readable short name. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now,
is it archived under that name though?
No, apparently not. It's archived under the date. Unless they created a name. If they create a name for it, it should archive under that name and then the date.
Okay, but what about the title? Because we also had that, which would be like what shows at the top. Should that be part of the archive name?
Well, I would think so, yes. If they give a title, I would say that's the thing. If they give a title, then use that and the date. If they give a name, I would say use that and the date.
Okay, sure. And if they don't give a name, just use the date or use the.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay.
What's the difference between the title and the name?
One is what you type in, and the other is what it says at the top of this notebook.
Right.
Although I don't know why there's a difference, really.
Yeah, I mean, typically people would use the name, make a name be the thing that they want to appear.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Why not?
It's just that there would be some restrictions on the whatever we call it, what's being used as the unique identifier. Because, well, one, it has to be unique, and then two, I mean, probably it shouldn't have spaces. I mean, there's no.
Well, it'll have to have spaces. Files can have spaces in them. Why can't it have spaces?
Yeah.
URL. It's going to be used as a URL. It can't have spaces. Are we imagining that somebody will go to this thing in the cloud? Once we have this working in the cloud, they'll just go to a URL, presumably.
Right, presumably. Yeah, I mean, and even if that's not a thing, then it still could be in the archive name, because if they don't give it a title but do give it a name being the unique ID, that name cannot have spaces in it. Otherwise, I mean, the URL looks messy. So it's, I mean, just in general for short names, it makes a lot of things a lot easier to say. They don't get to have spaces in them.
Fine. We should give them a title and that can override the name in terms of what's visually seen.
Sure.
Now, what you've got here, we don't want to display that. If this is displaying on, to a set of people, we don't want to say copy stream name. It wants to be a hamburger, just like in presenter tools or something.
Okay.
Does it have to be the same? Can't the user get something different than the streamer, the viewer?
No, this is the viewer here.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the point is, the scenario is somebody is giving a lecture and they are showing their screen to everybody.
Okay.
But the people in the room also want to see, get streams of what's going on.
Yep. So
I don't think one wants to. One can have the name of the session or what they have to type in here displayed. Okay, so the title at the top here. Could we display in that notebook title something like streaming : and then whatever the URL is of this streaming thing?
Do you actually mean the URL or the name or title or whatever? Because having the URL in that position isn't very useful because you can't copy it from there.
Well, you can type it in.
Well, sure, but I mean, I'm not sure we've really established what purpose the URL has at all. I mean, it sounds like it would only
We want
be
the
if
URL to be such that somebody could just go to that URL and start seeing the stream.
Okay, in a cloud notebook in the browser.
Well, not in a cloud notebook, just in a browser. Because
Oh,
it will
okay,
open
well,
it.
sure.
It'll be a Wolfram Cloud URL, right?
Okay, and then what would come up there? What would appear at that URL?
Something like a published notebook, just a notebook, just like it does in all cases.
Okay.
So we'd say, let's see. Okay, but we also were talking about, okay, so here it'll say streaming. Okay, so in streaming notebook, it'll say at the top, I mean, I don't think we need this bar other than to just indicate that it's a streaming notebook, and we might want to say stop streaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Toolbar with hamburger, and otherwise it would just be something. If you don't open the hamburger, it would literally say streaming, and then the whatever you'd have to type in to get it, I would assume.
Okay, is this in a toolbar or in the window title?
Toolbar,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, then what's in the window title?
The title of the stream.
Okay. And if there is no title, the name, and if there is no custom name, the auto-generated one. Okay.
That's what I would suggest, yes. Okay, so this would be probably something like this. I mean, we could generate a short URL for it.
Okay. Do we want to automatically do that for every stream notebook, or make it a voluntary thing? Like we click a button to do that?
I think we might as well just do it. Or, or some fairly short URL. I don't know if we could say wolframcloud.com.
Well, I think wolfram.am is good. It's just I don't know if there's I don't know what the quota or capacity of URLs is.
I don't know, but if it's look, we can have something here. Just put something onto that domain that I don't know what it is. It could be, it's probably going to be the unique name, right? It's going to be the unique name that's there.
Yeah.
NS for notebook streaming, stream /
okay,
and then the unique name.
Okay, yeah, that's good because it gives us our own namespace under wolfram.am.
Why promote the web version of, above notebooks, like a desktop notebook? I mean, maybe equal weight, but that doesn't give you a way to open up a desktop notebook.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we could gray down this part.
I think that's confusing.
Yeah, no one's going to know what that means.
Well, make it smaller or something. I don't know, because it is the case. You don't need to type that. You'll just type that unique name. If you want it on the desktop, that's all you type is that unique name. See what I'm saying? But if you need it on the web, it's that other thing.
Right. So maybe we just list both.
Well, I'm trying to avoid having a big pile of crud at the top of this thing, because people will see that every time they're, that might be, somebody's grand televised talk has this on it. See what I'm saying?
Right. Well, should it be a separate thing that you pop up? Well, no, I think it needs to always be visible.
Because it should be there so people can see it at the top of the screen. I think this is a reasonable solution. And I think people look, if people don't, only if people, by the time people know how to get to a URL, right? If people have desktop versions, then the person says, this is the desktop, just type the name, right? They'll figure that out. I think that's a reasonable solution.
Okay, can we put something at the web version that says you can also open this on desktop this way?
Yes, excellent idea. Excellent idea. That's a good idea. Okay, so now in the hamburger, we definitely want, show QR code. We definitely want.
Okay, I'm not entirely convinced on how useful QR codes are going to be, because
Okay,
realistically,
so I'll tell you why it's useful. It's useful.
Sure.
Well, I mean, your point is, why would they? By the time they can see the QR code, they can see it on their phone. They can see it at the screen. So why do they want to see it on their phone as well?
Well, it's more that I think seeing it on their phone is like the reason that this is the value add of notebook streaming over just seeing it on the screen is that you can copy cells and play with them on your own. I mean, maybe you can technically do that on mobile, but I think it's
totally abjectly stupid to hold up your computer to get a QR code.
Okay, I'm gonna have to beg to differ.
I disagree with that. I can just imagine the whole room of people turning their laptops around and waving them down in front of
I mean, you need special software to be able to scan a QR code on your laptop. Like, you can't do it in Photo Booth or anything.
No, I understand that, but well, I see. You could use. I see. Then by that point, it's all toast. Okay, well, fine. So that may not be useful. Okay, but the problem is, all right, so then in addition, in the hamburger, we got to say send, we got to have an email thing, send email, and we've also got to have a stop stream, and then we got to have a checkbox for keep an archive of the stream. Keep an archive after the stream ends.
So if it's a checkbox, then people can toggle that back and forth as much as they want, but it only matters once the stream has ended, right? Whatever the state of it is.
Okay, fine. Okay, how does somebody know how to get to the archive of this stream? So let's imagine that they're sitting in the lecture, but they want to get to the archive of that stream.
After it's ended?
Well, after it's ended, yes.
Well, I mean, when the streamer closes it, there could be a pop-up that says, "Here's the archive," but that's the only thing I can think of. Well, that URL, that wolfram.am/stream.
No, that doesn't work because that's only valid while the stream is running.
No, I thought that was valid for like at least an hour, some specifiable time.
I understand that, but
but if recycling auto-generated unique names is probably not an issue because there are going to be 10 million or whatever of them possible. Recycling vanity names is an issue because at the moment we want to recycle them as soon as they're no longer needed. But if we do that, then that URL then no longer means anything. And I think that having that URL is valuable.
That then suggests that we want to use the vanity URL here because that way people will be able to get to the archive afterwards.
Yes, I think having that URL, making that persistent or able to be persistent would probably be in the long run a good idea.
Maybe it should be by default persistent, and you could just destroy the archive if you don't want an archive.
Sure, but I mean, then it means that the vanity URL is also persistent, so that there's only one foo ever, unless you destroy the archive.
So then we can't have a vanity URL.
Okay.
Then we're just allocating a non-vanity URL for this.
For that, but
and this.
So for everything, it's just the auto-generated short name.
I think so. And then it archives by default. And then if you go to that URL after the stream is finished, you will just get the archive of that stream.
Sure.
But
Okay.
are you saying that we can't have a sort of a unique, even if it's not vanity, we can't have a long-lived name for, my notebook stream? So if people want to join my notebook stream, they have to get a new name every time?
Well, there could be this sort of similar to how Channel Framework does it, which I've not sure I think is the right way, but how you can have in the global namespace just an auto-generated name, and then in the your Wolfram ID namespace any name you want.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's essentially what we do for publishing, right? If I say publish to cloud, right, then I get either specify a name, in which case it'll be in that space there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or automatically assign a name.
Okay, in which case it's a UUID, right?
Well, in this particular case, it's a UUID, but we could do a short name.
Right, yeah, short name.
So I think that's probably the right approach. Specify a name, in which case it'll be part of your space, right? So it can say wolfr.am/stream/s.wolfram/blah, whatever.
Okay, at that point, it's no longer a short URL. But
no longer particularly short. You're saying it's no longer particularly short.
Yeah. Okay.
But that name there is not that name is uniquely allocated, right? That shortened name is uniquely allocated, and we have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do want a QR code here because you might want to flash that up in the middle of the talk and say, after this talk is over, go to this QR code, and you'll get that. And you can go look at the archive. And if you want to get it on your phone while it's running, then go there. Otherwise, you can just leave that thing on your phone, and when it's over, it'll go to the archive of the thing.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
By the way, just for people on the live stream, we absolutely have barcode recognized, which reads QR codes.
Yes, that will let you hold up your laptop to scan the QR code.
Yes. Okay. So then, on the viewing side, the title, if there is one, in Streamy Notebook,
I think the streamy would technically be the notebook being streamed, not the person receiving it.
Okay, and on the receiver side.
Yeah.
Then what you would have at the top is viewing stream blah 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 blah. I assume you'd just say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the title, or if there's no one, the short URL, that cascade of things. But yeah.
Right, but I mean, I think you need a stripe that says you have a streaming notebook here.
Yeah, I agree.
But what's the title of the whole notebook?
Well, the title could be viewing stream : that thing, and then the bar could just be something like
no. I don't think the title should be a viewing anything. I think the title should be whatever the title that's given to the stream is.
Okay, well, I was just suggesting that with viewing stream prepended, but yes, it could just be the title.
Okay. And then maybe the toolbar just says viewing stream. I don't know what options it would have. Would it have options?
Well, maybe a link to the archive, or what will be the archive.
Yeah, okay. All right. So then it can have, then over on the right, it can have a link to URL or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I'm not sure there's what a good way of describing what that URL is.
Well, why don't we give them a hamburger and then they can look and see there, it'll say archive URL.
Okay. But I mean,
Or
explaining what
permanent URL.
Yeah, permalink.
In which case, it could just be a permalink icon over on the right.
Is there an icon for that?
Yeah, there is a standard icon for that.
Okay.
Okay, so then if you, so now if I try to type here, it just doesn't type, and presumably it should beep. And presumably this should go away and things like that. How are you doing the, how are you doing the lack of typing? Is it
editable false, deletable false?
Okay, so, fine. Now, I mean, we could set these things to be click to copy.
Well, I mean, it's just you can just copy the cell bracket.
No, I understand that you can copy, but I mean, given that the only action you're going to want to do is copying, oh, whatever, you might want to get a sub piece. Now, can you send me a graphic, please?
Sure.
And can you send me a manipulate also?
Okay. Circle and.
Okay, so on my side, I can independently, so this is like a published notebook. On my side, I can independently resize it.
Yes. Now, the fact that works is a little bit serendipitous. And now I think if I go and try to resize this, it might go through to, So you can do that, but that's only because editable false doesn't catch that kind of thing. It's still going to try to, as it is now, it's still going to try to sync my state with yours.
Good.
And
I think that's excellent behavior. I like that very much. I mean, I think people might well want to, okay, so now send the manipulate.
Right. Now that's same scenario here. So you should be able to drag that, I think. But then I should then be able to take over.
This is great. This is very easy to understand. This is just like a published notebook.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and this is great. So I can open and close cell brackets. So what you're doing is you're having an incrementally built published notebook, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what does happen with a closed cell bracket? Like reverse close the circle, and if Jesse, you edit the code, what happens?
No idea.
Try it.
Here, I just collapsed and then uncollapsed, collapse again, uncollapse. What happened?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, but is weird, right? That's
Well, I didn't see what happened. I was on the other.
It stayed collapsed. I don't even know if it made changes.
Okay, yeah,
but
I don't know.
Collapsed.
Okay, because that's like a property of the cell group data or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only the cell objects themselves that are getting synced.
But what if Stephen collapses that cell with the graphics, the input showing, and then you edit it, you reevaluate it or something? Jesse.
I suspect that it will sync, and then when he uncollapses it, that'll show. So, Stephen, can you collapse, I guess?
Which way?
The
regular?
With the normal way.
Inverse way. Oh, normal way?
No, I want to just
what should I do? Like make it red or something? Like change the graphic? Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it already opened. It already opened.
It opened. It opened, and then he started typing.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Someone's asking how much network bandwidth will this use? Not very much, right? You're just sending diffs, aren't you?
Well, not actually diffs. It's sending the whole cell every time, but only the cell that's been edited. So it could be up to, like, if you make some giant image, like a couple megabytes.
And again, in the setup of this meeting, which is just completely insane, we don't have the cloud people here, right?
No.
So, because they have their own collaborative editing mechanism at a cell level, which this should plug into, I think. But I think we at least understand. Okay, so let's assume. So we understand the what am I saying? We understand the basic structure here. All right. Do we have an assessment of how difficult this project is, given what we've just designed?
Sure. I think the basic functionality without the cloud viewability and potentially without archiving is fairly simple, like a month of development, maybe.
It's not simple. That's
okay,
not
fine.
simple at all.
Okay, fine. So simple is relative, but yeah, like a month of development. That's my estimation at least. I have no idea how difficult the cloud stuff is. So, yeah.
Well, we've got to find that out. So let's
Sure.
bring this up then in the next cloud development meeting. We'll probably need a presentation of this. It's kind of a mess up. Okay.
Well, the next you mean the meeting with you, Stephen? Right.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, unless you, Todd, maybe you can ask Jan, pull him into this and ask him.
I'll bring it up in the cloud group development meeting tomorrow.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Anything else for right now here?
Well, Jesse, just want to make sure, are you clear on the notes that Stephen's put together for the UI? You understand all of the decisions that were made? I just want to be
Yeah,
okay,
that makes sense. Good. I guess just one thing to check is, are there still 2 buttons in that dialogue? Like, what should the dialogue look like? The create a stream dialogue.
Well, I think we should have 2 separate. Honestly, I think there's such different actions, really. I mean, the type of person who's going to be creating one of these it's not really quite the same action. Most people who connect to one of these I think that the default should be connect to a stream, and there should be a button on there that says create a new stream, and it should take you to a different thing, because you're going to have to pick your name and title and God knows what else, right? So I think file new, in which case it really isn't a file new, it's more like an open. I think it's like, it should be file streaming notebook, and then
well, the precedent is chat session, which is a similar sort of thing. You can connect to an existing chat, and that is under file new.
No, it isn't. Oh, it is under file new. Well, yes. I understand that. I don't think it's right, because I think what we should do here is default to connecting to an existing thing, and then have a button that says create a new stream.
Okay.
But it's got to be under file new, not file open.
Well, fair enough. We don't have a submenu for file open anyway. Okay, file new. Okay, maybe we should say notebook stream. ... So it isn't streaming notebook, it's notebook stream. If you say file new notebook stream,
yeah, but I don't know what a good name is, but if I saw file new notebook stream, I wouldn't have the faintest idea what that was. Not that it really matters, because I tried once and then I might figure it out. But I mean,
well, you think streaming notebook is better?
I think so, because at least I understand it's a notebook.
Well,
notebook stream sounds like some weird connection to some. I don't know what it sounds like.
Well, file new X notebook is evokes the imagery of creating a .nb file, which this under the hood is, but at the top level it's something different. So I think file new notebook stream. That's what I'm leaning towards, at least.
There is no way I'm going to be able to do the next meeting that I was supposed to do here. Hopeless. No. Should have said it earlier in the day. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, okay. There's people on the live stream are suggesting other things like Live Notebook. I think Live Notebook unfortunately reads as Live Notebook. Notebook server isn't quite right because that's yet a different thing. Well, anyway, I think this is still to be figured out here.
Sure. Okay, and then just one other thing to consider: can people stream an existing notebook, convert it into a stream or something? Because right now you can copy cells, you can paste cells into your streamed notebook, but you can't convert an existing notebook or make it go live.
Again? What?
Taking an existing notebook and making it into a notebook stream or a streamed notebook or whatever, pushing it live, so to speak.
That would be cool if you could do that.
Yeah.
And then it would just, and then everybody, it would show up. What you have already would show up, and then everything you now type would then show up.
Right. So I guess just what the UI is for that, and then like, does it? I mean, since making a
well, that's a good reason to have a more complicated UI for create notebook stream, because then it can say use an existing notebook or start a new notebook.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. And then if you use an existing notebook, would it be okay to essentially duplicate it, and the duplicate becomes the stream? Because I'm not sure if it's converting in place.
Yes, I think that's crazy to convert in place.
Okay. Okay, good.
Start from existing notebooks. I think the create new notebook or start from existing notebook content. Something like that. Mm-hmm. Start new notebook versus start from existing notebook content.
Okay. And seeing that screenshot below makes me think, do we care about permissions having anything less than public?
Do we have any way to do that?
Well, I mean, we don't really have anything yet, but I mean, it's certainly possible. It's just I can imagine that the UX would be more difficult because people might not be logged in as an account that's been granted permissions. I think the use cases for this that have been come up with, like a lecture or a or like an online class or something, don't permissions aren't that.
Actually, the other thing is somebody might want to know who is watching my stream.
That's okay. That's definitely doable. That's easy.
Is it easy? Because if they're not authenticated users, how do you know?
Okay. Well, if they're not authenticated users, then, well, no, we don't know. But just seeing what is listening on the channel is an existing capability. But I don't know what to do if they're not authenticated users. I mean, it could just say for anonymous users.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think there may be a reason to have permissions, but I don't know if we're going to have permissions. They've got to be proxied through the only way I can imagine that working is to somehow proxy them through cloud objects.
Well, channels already have permissions, and those are handled entirely on the server. They don't support certain things like permissions groups, because that's very, very difficult to keep what's on the server in sync with what's in the cloud. But they do support, obviously they do support granting permissions to just Wolfram IDs, saying you can write, you can read.
I think we should keep this simple.
Okay.
Keep this really simple and not buried under all sorts of features.
Well, for that, like published notebook has just allow anyone to access and password protect. So password protect would
not for much longer. That's going to get a lot more elaborate.
Oh, okay.
There's an advanced tab that's coming, which is vastly more elaborate.
Okay. Well, never mind then.
Look, I think you can assume it's public for now.
Okay.
Okay, you can assume this is part of our publishing story, not part of some permission sharing story.
Okay, sure.
Well, it looks good. Okay, you need to talk to the cloud people before we greenlight this and figure out so we figure out how that's going to work there. Even if, and they may have some very easy way to do it. If we're lucky, they will.
Okay.
Using some fancy React thingy where they're just basically, I can imagine it being quite easy. I can also imagine it being quite hard. So let's find out. Great. How is the MQTT channel broker thing going?
Good. Very, very nearing completion. The code is basically done. It's just the architecture stuff, which I'm going to be getting on.
All right. Okay. Well, sounds good. All right. We should probably wrap this up. Thank you to folks on the live stream. It's could have been a more perfect meeting if we'd had the right people here from the beginning, but so it goes. This is good functionality. It's very nice, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you all soon.
Right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.